We have about 48 hours before the situation might be heading for a massive collapse, not only in the bond market, not only in the US stock market that did crash just yesterday on Friday, but Monday morning, if the situation is not better, Trump doesn't come up with something big, this situation that we're seeing around the world where we are seeing people starting to panic buy petrol. This is fresh footage coming out of Thailand just recently. In Australia, you can see right here, petrol stations literally out of petrol. So there is a fuel shortage. The government needs to come up with a plan fast. And every 24 hours, this situation in the Middle East with the Strait of Hormuz closed, this is just going to get everything worse and worse and worse. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly where we are up to in this situation right now, because at the moment it's the weekend, it's Saturday. I have decided to do a weekend update, but I have to say, look, Monday, this is the crunch time for Trump. So President Trump has 53 hours to contain the bond market by the futures open on Sunday. If history is any guide, Trump and Percent will be working overtime on the containment of the bond market this weekend. If not, things will get very ugly very fast. And I want to just say though, it's more than just the bond market. This is a total breakdown in the supply chains around the world. And we're going to be breaking down exactly where we are up to with this conflict. And we also have breaking data that this thing even could get worse. Like it literally could continue to spiral out of control. And at the end of this video, we also have a big reveal about those mysterious videos coming out of the White House. So I'll reveal to you what the answer of those creepy videos from the White House are at the end of the video. So guys, let's get straight into it. So unfortunately, this situation is escalating. Unfortunately, literally within the last 12 hours, we've had Israel taking out two of Iran's largest steel factories, a power plant and a civilian nuclear site amongst other infrastructure. Israel claims it acted in coordination with the US. Attack contradicts POTUS extended deadline for diplomacy. Iran will extract a heavy price for Israeli crimes. So that's according to the Iranian foreign minister. They are his words. That's what he's saying over on X. And the situation, unfortunately, it looks like it's escalating. And not only that, do we have big strikes coming in against Iranian infrastructure. Have a look at this. Someone new might be joining in the battle on the side of the Iranians. So breaking, Yemen's Houthi group, an Iranian ally, says it is ready to go to intervene in the Iran war if new allies join the US and Israel, or if the Red Sea is used to launch attacks on Iran. The Houthis have strong influence over Bab al-Mandab Strait, which controls over 6 million barrels of daily oil supply. Total offline capacity between the Strait of Hormuz and al-Mandab would be nearly 25 million barrels per day, or 25% of the global supply, if that gets closed. So yeah, this situation again, it could continue to get worse. So what we're seeing out of Trump and what we're seeing out of this whole conflict is everything is backfiring. Everything is escalating. It's just escalation after escalation, economic damage after economic damage. And it's not actually de-escalating. So you're just seeing like a war of destruction happening. And one of the Iranian leaders, the Speaker of the Parliament, has come out saying right here, Iran on US peace talk headlines, they've spammed so much fake news trying to push energy prices down that the market is just numb now. Keep going. Nobody is buying it anymore. The real prices will show up anyway. Powerful, maybe, but smart, not even close. Burned that fake news card way too early. And they're referencing right there. You guys remember Trump with his story of, the present, the grand present. We covered it in a couple of videos, the 8 oil tankers getting given from Iran to the US, and it ended up being fake news. We couldn't get that confirmation out of Bloomberg, who was an independent verification. There was no satellite images confirming any of that tracking data. And the whole situation is just sinking. So again, S&P 500 has one of its lowest closes in 232 days, 1 trillion wiped off. But again, next week, there could even be a bigger wipe off, and we'll explain that later. And US gas prices are now up $1 plus gallon since the Iran war began, with mortgage rates near 6.5%, a 7-month high. At the current pace, we would see gas prices at $4.50 a gallon and 7% mortgage as soon as next month. And I have to say, even if you're in the US, you're in actually a better situation than many other countries out there. Because again, if you're in like Australia or you're in Thailand or Asia, these countries, if this drags on, people will run out of jet fuel, they'll run out of diesel, and the situation is not under control. To add into the mix of things, Trump is coming up with more statements that don't really sync up to reality. So let's listen into this one.
And I really believe we saved the Middle East. We saved not just Israel, we saved the Middle East.
So again, Trump claiming a victory right here, even though the conflict is raging on and even though it is even getting worse. Putin is now sending upgraded versions of the Shahed drones to be used by Iran in this conflict as well. So more escalations are happening. We are continuing to see a really shaky stock market right now. So next week, Monday, Tuesday, watch out for the bond market, watch out for the stock market, and the Iranians, they're picking up on this. And we also have a new potential escalation deployment, and this time it's going to be, according to CBS News, citing a number of unnamed sources, the USS George H.W. Bush aircraft carrier will be deploying to the Central Command area of responsibility amidst ongoing operations against Iran. U.S. officials speaking to CBS News on the condition of anonymity said the carrier may join in combat operations against Iran once it reaches the CENTCOM AOR. Now, I've also seen over on X, they're claiming that 6 LCU military vessels belonging to the Americans, which were responsible for amphibious operations and the transport of equipment and supplies, were hit in the port of Al Shayuk in Dubai with Qadar 380 cruise missiles. And that's according to the IRGC Public Relations Department. And having said that, even though this is getting stated on X, I couldn't see any photographs or videos to corroborate that story. So I'll just say that's a claim by Iranians at the moment, but we haven't seen any evidence to say that's actually the case. And if that was the case, though, obviously not good right there. But that is one story that is circulating around. That one's got nearly 500,000 views over an X right there. And look, as we head into Monday, what people need to realize is, Trump has been coming out with statements recently, and there have been knee-jerk reactions out of the financial market with those statements. But as you know, as you've been following these videos, I've been telling you exactly where the Iranians have been sitting, where the US have been sitting, and quite often Trump has been coming out with statements that the Iranians very quickly deny or say it's fake news. But what really needs to happen, and if this doesn't happen, so there's a couple of things that might happen, I think you have to have on the radar for next week. So Trump either has to come to the table with legitimate, communication with Iran, with what's actually going to happen. Is there going to be a de-escalation? Is there going to be a withdrawal of US troops? Something the Iranians will actually agree to. So we know in the past Trump's come up with like 15 points, and a lot of those points, like reducing ballistic missiles, it doesn't seem like the Iranians will ever agree to that. So those types of talks with those points will probably not be acceptable. But the thing is, look, if there isn't some type of agreement, this is what you have to understand, and these parties don't see eye to eye on this, and this drags on every single day. This thing drags on. It gets worse and worse and worse. Remember, there are ramifications for oil, right? So oil might shoot through the roof. Remember what that does. It just crunches the supply chain. So there's an extra tax on companies. Companies become less profitable. I mean, think about all the trades that use oil. Even like driving a truck around, that goes up. Everything's going to become way more expensive. Inflation's going to, go out of control. And even at the same time, you have to watch out for that lagging, ticking time bomb of the fertilizer. So remember, fertilizer, all this stuff coming out of the Middle East, they need that to grow crops. And if that doesn't get resolved, you could see catastrophic things unfold in the future. So every day that passes where this conflict is not resolved and that Strait of Hormuz is not open, and even, look, if we get that escalation where they close this other strait, the situation, again, gets worse. So that's what you have to understand for Monday. So if Trump doesn't come up with something this weekend that is solid, that is legit, that the Iranians actually get on board with, and this thing continues to escalate, as in an economic war of destruction, you just have to prepare, because things, you think things about at the moment, they could just get so much worse. Guys, let's reveal this brand new, this big announcement. But before we do, I actually spotted a new propaganda video from the White House. Let's check this out. Let's watch this together. I'm missing the name of that. I can't remember the name of that game. I know it though. I know it's a Nintendo Wii game. But that video, I have to say, the point of that video though, it fails because again, you know, what are we talking about? The fertilizer is not coming out, like the urea, the important stuff to actually make farming possible in some parts of the world right now, guys. It's not coming out. So there's no great farming week coming at all. Agriculture week, guys. There's going to be starvation week. There might be famine week. It might be famine month. So that's your real story right there. But let's get into this big reveal. So we did see these creepy videos come out from the White House where they were hyping up, you know, just weird videos, something new, something big. I said this was going to be like it's just silly. And what did it end up being, guys? It ended up being right here. It literally was an app from the White House. That's it. It's a huge nothing burger coming out of the White House right there. So guys, don't go too much down the rabbit hole when they start to put out these silly tweets over from the White House. You're probably wasting your time. And you can see right here, Libertarian Party of Tennessee comes out with a big screenshot of what this app can access, and it seems to be a lot of things. So it can access your location. You can access a lot of things on your phone. So some security and privacy concerns getting shown over on X about that app. So I won't be downloading that. So that's the big reveal. And if we do take a look at the financial markets, let's summarize this up. Some important alpha at the end of the video. So look, S&P 500, look at this. This is starting to crater. Not good. It's not good. So you don't want to see next week just go down like this. And this is the thing. If it does continue to escalate, you might see that. So really, you know, the resolution that's coming into the crunch time right now. Let's bring up the Brent oil. So again, you know, we've seen these red candles, which quite often have come off the back end of Trump fake news. So Trump puts out these announcements that have no bearing of reality, and then eventually the market just discovers that it's nonsense, and it's been going back up. So you can see the market go up as the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. So oil is going up. You know, we might be in for record oil prices this week coming up. So next week, guys, watch out for that. And let's have a look at the gold and silver price. So I think one silver lining is at the moment, gold seems to be holding on. Okay, so there's a bit of strength coming into gold, and there's a bit of strength coming to silver. So showing a lot of support at those levels. And you guys know we love our gold and silver right here on the channel. So that is looking good. But I have to say, the whole global economy will now be on the knife edge. So as this situation gets worse, remember, there is so many spill-on effects into mini economies out there. So oil shortage, people don't go to work, crops don't get sown, trucks don't get deliveries. You know, it really can become very bad. So I know people like Peter Schiff says, you know, you got to focus on inflation and things like that. It's not just inflation. This is actually like goods not arriving in shops. That is the most important thing, because again, you can't survive if there's no food. That is today's monster update. And if you guys enjoyed it, just like the video. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.